Let's go, Dolphins! There's tension in the locker room, desperation in the front office, and a shocking development involving Tyreek Hill that could shake up the NFL. This isn't just another rumor, it's real, and the clock is ticking. If the next few games don't go as planned, we could be witnessing the end of an era. But is that really a bad thing? I have a few more things to tell you, but before I continue, make sure you like it, but only do so if you've been a Dolphins fan for over 17 years. It's always great to see loyal fans of all generations interacting here. It means a lot to us. If you can, right, go Dolphins! Okay, here's everything I'm hearing, and it'll blow your mind. So here's where it gets really spicy. There's one very real possibility that could delay or derail a Hill trade altogether: legal issues. Reports surfaced this week alleging that Tyreek Hill is facing domestic violence accusations from his ex-wife, Tagovailoa. She's alleging 8 separate incidents, including spitting, pushing, and even arm twisting, based on court documents reported by TMZ. There's a lot of detail here, and while no criminal charges have been filed as of now, it's critical to understand that the NFL does not need a criminal case to launch its own investigation. And with Tyreek's previous history, this could be a very big deal. If these allegations linger, it's hard to imagine another team making a deal for Hill. The optics, the risk, it's all too much. And if a suspension looms, that trade value tanks even further. But let's not forget who Tyreek Hill still is. He's a game changer. Despite a quiet stat line in week 1, 4 catches for 40 yards on 6 targets, Hill got open. The tape doesn't lie. He beat defenders, found soft spots in zone coverage, and was open multiple times downfield. Tua just missed him, overthrew him, underthrew him, got sacked. It wasn't on Tyreek. The man hasn't lost a step. So if you're thinking this is about his performance, think again. The issue here is Miami's direction. This is a franchise staring down a potential fire sale if the next 4 games don't go right. Speaking of which, the next 4 games are critical. Patriots this Sunday, then the Bills on Thursday night, followed by the Jets at home on Monday night, and then the Panthers. That stretch is the last stand. Miami needs to go 3-1 in that span to stay afloat. Anything worse, and you're looking at a 1-4 or 0-5 start, which means Hill is gone. Simple as that. It's hard to overstate just how massive this Sunday's matchup against New England is. Lose that, and the slide begins. Then you're facing the Bills on a short week, and we all know what Buffalo does to teams with no momentum. Now, what could Miami even get back for Tyreek Hill? Don't expect a first-round pick. Probably not even a second. A third-rounder, a fifth, maybe a depth player. Kansas City has already been floated as a landing spot. Makes sense. They desperately need receiver help. Rashee Rice is suspended, Xavier Worthy is banged up, and the Chiefs' offense lacked explosion in week 1. There's also talk of Jawan Taylor being included in a potential deal, a struggling right tackle who could fill a need for Miami. Draft picks plus a serviceable lineman? That might be enough to convince the Dolphins to pull the trigger. Then there's Pittsburgh. The Steelers are another rumored destination, especially since they're in all-in mode and already have a working relationship with the Dolphins front office after the Fitzpatrick and Ramsey trades. They've got the picks, 2 third-rounders in 2026, and possibly a 5th they could throw in. No player in return, but a chance for Miami to recoup value and reload. The reality is, a lot hinges on these next 4 games. The trade deadline is November 4th, which gives the Dolphins 8 games to show they're for real. But if they're 3-5 or worse, even 4-4, it's time to sell. Time to face the truth. This team isn't built to compete late in the year against real contenders. The second half of the schedule is brutal. If you're not ahead by mid-season, you're out, and Hill becomes the most valuable trade chip on the board. The ripple effects of a potential Tyreek Hill trade go far beyond just losing a superstar wide receiver. It would mark the official collapse of the win-now era that the Miami Dolphins have been desperately clinging to since Mike McDaniel took over as head coach and Greer continued patchworking this roster year after year. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is the defining moment of this regime. And if they blow it, they're both gone. Period. Now, if Miami does decide to move on from Tyreek Hill, what exactly are we left with? Jalen Waddle becomes your WR1. He's electric, yes, but he's not Tyreek. And after that, it's Cedric Wilson Jr., Braxton Berrios, Eric Ezukanma, guys who, let's be honest, haven't shown they're capable of taking over a game. And that's a problem. Because what happens when defenses start doubling Waddle, forcing Tua to read past his first look? We've already seen what happens. He panics. He bails early. His footwork goes out the window, and he starts throwing ducks into coverage. That's what happened in week 1. That's why Kim Bynum was gifted that interception. That's why Tyreek's 4 receptions were barely noticeable. This offense, without Tyreek Hill, is one-dimensional at best. You don't replace him, you just try to survive without him. And here's where the real chaos kicks in. If you trade Hill, you're not just conceding the season, you're likely triggering a full rebuild. Because let's be real, if you're dealing away your best weapon, you're also saying goodbye to playoff hopes. And when that happens, guys like Xavier Howard, Terron Armstead, and even Bradley Chubb become candidates to be moved as well. This could turn into a fire sale fast. Chris Greer, hanging onto his job by a thread, may try one last desperate move, but we've seen this movie before. He'll wait too long. He'll miss the best offers. He'll ask for too much. And instead of flipping Hill for meaningful picks or talent, he'll mismanage the timing and get pennies on the dollar, if anything. That's the fear, and it's valid. But it's not just about who might be traded, it's about the future of the franchise. Trading Tyreek Hill before the deadline could signal the start of something necessary but painful, blowing it up to build a real foundation. Think about it, a 3rd and 5th round pick from the Steelers or Chiefs could help reload in 2026. Maybe you finally find that impact defensive tackle you've needed for years. Maybe you bring in a lineman that can actually protect Tua, or whoever's under center next. Because let's face it, if this team crumbles, the Tua era could end alongside the McDaniel one. And speaking of McDaniel, what's his role in all this? He was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, the offensive genius, the breath of fresh air. But now, he's in a must-win stretch of games with everything on the line. If the Dolphins come out flat again against the Patriots, it's not just Hill on the chopping block, it's McDaniel himself. This team cannot afford to go 0-2, especially not with Buffalo looming on a short week. Start 0-3, and you're not crawling out of that hole. That's when ownership starts making calls. That's when Stephen Ross starts looking around the league for replacements. And don't think he won't. This franchise has no patience for embarrassment, not after years of mediocrity. And yet, there's still a scenario where Miami survives all this. If they beat the Patriots, handle business against the Panthers and Jets, and somehow sneak past the Bills or at least make it competitive, they could go into Week 6 with a 3-2 record. That's the lifeline. That's the only shot this team has at avoiding a mid-season collapse. But it's going to require more than just hoping Tyreek bails you out. It's going to take leadership, smart play calling, and for once, a solid performance from Tua when it actually matters. Let's not ignore the fan sentiment either. Dolphins fans are tired. They've been sold hope year after year, only to be let down when it matters most. And now, the face of the franchise, the heartbeat of the offense, could be shipped out like just another asset. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you know the person pulling the strings, Chris Greer, has failed to deliver time and time again. This team is on the edge, and if Hill goes, that edge might give way to a total collapse. So now I'll leave it up to you. The season hangs in the balance. The Tyreek Hill situation is just the tip of the iceberg. If things don't turn around immediately, this could spiral out of control in a way we haven't seen since the Adam Gase era. But there's still a narrow path to redemption. It starts this Sunday. Smash that like button, subscribe for daily updates, and check out the next video on your screen where we break down how Miami could survive life after Tyreek Hill or not. Go Dolphins!